Billboard magazine publishes its first music hit parade, the St. Patrick's Day Flood, which happened in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, March 17th and 18th, and was the worst flood in history. Flood levels peaked at 46 feet or 14 meters, and Richard Hauptmann, who was convicted for the kidnapping and murder of the Lindbergh baby, was executed by electrocution. The year is 1936, and this two-door town sedan was available over at your Chevy dealer. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that covers mostly machines from a world gone away, history, specs, design, and all new segment at the end, slow-mo walkaround, which you can see this car and all of the panels like you've never seen it before. We post between 4 and 5 episodes each week, each episode premiering live around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, with engine episodes generally on Wednesdays. If any of that applies to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Real quick, before getting into the meat and potatoes, I'm down in Thomasville, Georgia, and I will be here until June 27th. If you have a cool car in your personal collection that you would like to see featured on this channel in mini documentary format, drop me a line at what_it's_like at a lost and mostly forgotten webprovider.com if interested. 1936 Chevy model lineup was broken down into 3 model lines on 2 wheelbase chassis. The FC Standard, which rides the smaller 109-inch wheelbase chassis. The other 2, the FD Master and the FA Master Deluxe, ride the longer 113-inch wheelbase chassis. Chevy would produce the Master from 1933 through 1942, being replaced by the Chevy Deluxe after World War II in 1946. But it's worth pointing out that the Chevy Deluxe was around since 1941. They just ditched the Master name. Master Deluxe could be had in body styles such as, but not limited to, Business Coupe, Coach, Town Sedan, Sport Coupe, Sedan, Sport Sedan. Standard features on the Master Deluxe were perfected hydraulic brakes, solid steel turlet top, bodies by Fisher, overhead valve, inline 6 engine, stabilized front end, knee action, which according to Chevy is the most important single factor employed, and it gives Chevy that gentle gliding ride, which is all just marketing jargon for their shock absorbers, which were double action. I know you're sitting there scratching your head. What is the difference between a 2-door Coach and a 2-door Town Sedan? The Coach, it doesn't look like it has a trunk. The Town Sedan does have a trunk that's built into the body. Anything with sport in the name doesn't appear to have a trunk. Let's talk specs. It rides a wheelbase of 113 inches. It weighs 2,985 pounds. Price, $605, which is equivalent to you spending $13,669.91 in the year 2024. Total 1936 Chevy production was 918,278 units. And it's worth pointing out that this production number is just the cars. It doesn't have anything to do with the truck line. 2-door Coach, they made 40,814. Moving on to engines, which there was only one engine on offer, 206.8 cubic inch displacement, inline, overhead valve, 3.4 liters. It's good for 79 horsepower, 3,200 RPM with an estimated 130 pound-feet or 176 newton meters at 1,800 RPM with a bore of 3.3 inches and a stroke of 4 inches. Compression is 6-to-1 with 3 main bearings built of cast iron. I found this 1936 Chevy Master Deluxe 2-door Town Sedan at John Kufleitner's Galleria of pristine, vintage, and classic cars. If you're ever out in the Salem area, be sure to stop in and check out their extensive inventory. If you're looking for a classic car, they have over 60 cars for sale when recording this episode. Anybody can go peruse their inventory, whether that be online or in person. 4 hours of operation, directions, as well as to get the full scoop and see more pictures on this very car. Be sure to click the link below after the show. Also wanted to mention a couple other products that Chevy also offered in 1936, the sedan delivery, as well as the coupe pickup. Different concepts. As well as a truck line that went half-ton all the way up to the big commercial. Let's talk styling. Starting out with the bumpers. 2 overriders and or bumperettes. Look at all of the different texture inside those bumperettes. Bumpers are attached at these 2 points. So look at how this comes to a point. Check out where the headlights are mounted. They are mounted to the radiator shell itself. Coming down the side, louvers. The fenders have this bead that caps off the end before flowing into the running board. Artillery wheels. That's what the mascot slash hood ornament looks like, which there is a center line that goes towards the split windshield. Windshield wipers are mounted at the bottom. Cowl vent. Mirrors are mounted to the door. Also notice this car does not have drip rails. It just has like a flange. But it is a complete steel top. Doesn't have the chicken wire. How these windows are designed, how they have this pressed in look. The rear fenders also have this bead that caps off the ends. Look at how this fender comes back into a point. Also notice the bead that runs the perimeter of it. Brake lights that say Chevrolet. License plate bracket mounted on top of the brake light assembly. Gas filler on the driver's side. This car has 2 brake lights. Bumpers in the back appear to mimic the ones in the front. While we're back here, let's get in the trunk. There's an arm that comes up and catches right here. Notice this is a 2-tiered trunk. At the bottom, you have the full-size spare, bi-supply spare, and then there's a shelf on top to put whatever you'd like inside there. It's a pretty big trunk, all things considered. That's what it would look like. Just look at how massive that door is. It's totally framed out. As well as a cloth material on the doors. I'm not entirely sure if this is the right material that's supposed to be in here. It almost looks like the interior has been redone. Armrest as well as door handle to pull the door shut. Window crank for the big window. Just notice it doesn't have a frame around it. Vent windows are also crank operated. They work like this. Door handle to get out. Coming down inside the pedal box down here. High beam switch, clutch, brake, gas pedal. Just take a look at this interior. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here is what first person over the hood would look like. On to the button switches and knobs. Out of focus. Coming off of the steering wheel column is the turn signal indicators, which are aftermarket. 3 gauge pods sit directly in front of the driver. First gauge pod is split with gas on the top, coolant temperature on the bottom. Speedometer in center. Also take notice at the font used. 100 mile per hour traceable, trackable top speed. Odometer. Also notice the numbers all go one way. Last gauge is also split with amp meter on top, oil pressure on bottom, headlights, choke, hand throttle, key. Up above there are sun visors. And for reference, there is a rear view mirror in the center, as well as another sun visor. I lied, there isn't another sun visor over here for the passenger. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Look at how absolutely massive. But the camera doesn't fit in the hole. So yeah, the camera doesn't fit in the hole, but it would fit in the glove box if it could get past the hole. So it doesn't fit together. I could take it apart and it could fit in there, but it wouldn't be fair to all of the other cars that came before. So it does not fit in the glove box. This is the windshield wipers. Down here, this is for the cowl. So getting in the rear, move both of those seats up, and this is how much space you'd have to get back there. Notice the lack of transmission tunnel back there. Also notice the 4 brakes in the front for a footrest. There are also rope rails on the back of each seat for a heavy blanket. Ashtray, as well as armrests on the panels themselves. The windows do go down back here. Operate like this. And that's all the further they go down, so about halfway. Beautiful inline 6 overhead valve. Oil bath air cleaner with downdraft carburetor. We're on the intake and exhaust side. Notice the intake runs on top of the exhaust. Horn is mounted way down inside there, right on the steering wheel rack. Generator down inside there. On the positive side, great body style on this one. Overhead valve engine, good performance for the time period. Great space throughout, trunk, in body, full instrumentation dash. Against it, there isn't much. Just know that the engines are splash lubricated and have Babbitt poured bearings. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1936 Ford V8 or a 1936 Chevy Master Deluxe or 1936 Plymouth? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario. It's a bit outside the box, and they may or may not be in the same price point, but which one would you rather have? 1936 supercharged inline 6 Graham or 1936 Chevy Master D or 1936 Nash Lafayette? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. That song is from the 30s. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted. I don't say that for self-worth. I just say that if you post a comment on here, I will definitely take the time to read it because you took the time to post it. I love the community that we have here. I love interacting with you guys, and I don't ever want that to change. We have a Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel that gives you the opportunity to share your rides, stories, experiences. Anything car related is shareable on there. If you don't have Facebook and would like to reach out to me one-on-one, send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. So whether I see you on here in the comment section, Facebook, or if you send me an email, just know I appreciate everything that you guys bring. Until next time, toodaloo!